Hello and welcome to episode 32, part 2 of my Wurm Unlimited tutorial series. And so I'm continuing on right where I left off, well, nearly right where I left off from the last episode, because there's that bear patrolling the area where I need to cross. But I want to continue on about what I was talking of, which was benefits of planting a deed, because there are many benefits, and so I'll continue on. So, okay, the next thing to mention, the last one I believe was that you could set it as your spawn point, use it as a spawn point. Okay, the next one, reason for having a deed, benefit, is reserving of the land. Now, here in Wurm Unlimited, if you're playing on your own, in your own world, this doesn't apply for that reason. Because obviously, you have the whole world to play with. Fantastic. You got all of that, and then some. So, it's absolutely wonderful. So, for those of you, though, that are playing on public servers, and Wurm Online, of course, land is precious. So for them two servers, your Wurm Online and public servers, you're reserving an area of land for your own use, and you're adding security to it by deeding. So there we go. I mean, as you can see, massive difference. Moving on, the next benefit of deeding: slower decay on items. Your walls, your guard towers, your BSBs, your FSBs, your boats, your houses, your tools, your armour and weapons. Basically anything that does not fit in an FSB or BSB. Okay, let's wake you up for a second and engage you. Why? Why does it not include items that fit in an FSB or BSB? Right, you've had time to think about that and pause if you wish. Because, as I've already told you, items do not rot in FSBs and BSBs. Codeclub AB recently had an update where they removed the rot on deeds altogether. Okay, so that's the reason why, and that's the answer. So every other item though that doesn't fit in an FSB or BSB, its rot rate is slower. Now on a deed in Wurm Online, they've substantially reduced the damage, okay, that items take, and also even I think it was a 5% increase in slowing down the rot rate in BSBs, and 5% of the items used to get removed from FSBs and BSBs. I think they stopped that now. So there we are, your walls, your towers, all of them structures I mentioned, all of the items, slower rot rate. That equates to less time you having to spend running around repairing everything. Okay, let's move on to the next benefit. The next benefit of having a deed is it's quicker to destroy items and structures. So, if you make a forge by mistake, or a fence by mistake, because you've been watching some idiot called Gamester for Life, and he progressed you in a later episode to making a low stone wall instead of a wooden fence, if that wooden fence that you built in error is within your deed, you will be able to destroy it quicker than if it was off the deed. And I will get to eventually showing you that. So that's all good. So there we are. The next benefit to having a deed: it allows control of who can do what. So let's explain. Basically, the person in charge, the mayor, and you can rename the mayor to the king if you wish, for those of you that are a bit egomaniac, egomaniacs. It's totally up to you. But let's just say the person that is in charge of things can set different permissions. They can say who can pick things up. They can say who destroys things. They can say what resources that you can harvest. You can even drill down to what type of resource. For example, in mining, you can not only say who's allowed to mine rock shards, you can say who's allowed to mine iron. So there we have it. Lots of different reasons for the control and permissions. I mean, I'm going to show you them. Don't worry, don't panic. I'm not just talking about all of this and then not going to show you. I can't show you because I haven't got the deed made yet. I'm going to get to that. Okay, don't rush me. Right, so where am I? I'm going to look at my notes now quickly because I don't want to make any mistakes. This episode, by the way, will possibly be shorter because I'm going to get to the point of actually staking the deed, placing the deed. Because I haven't had the opportunity yet to go over all the options in Wurm Unlimited with a placed deed, that's where we will halt. And then I will prepare the next part of this episode on deeding once I've got a deed to play with. So that makes complete sense, I hope, to you. Okay, continuing on. Where you place your deed stake is where your settlement token will be. Okay? In Wurm Online, the bigger the deed, the more silver it will cost you. In Wurm Online, the more guards you have, the more silver it will cost you. And I'm talking about Spirit Templars, not Tower Guards. They're free and they're awesome, as I've already shown you. In Wurm Unlimited, it is up to you if you are playing by yourself. So basically, if you've set your will to no charge for deeds, and that includes Spirit Templars, it's up to you. If you've set a charge, it's up to you. If on a public non-Codeclub AB server, okay, now here's a subject we've had quite a few questions on, Rainstorm and me. So forgive me for sidestepping a little here, but it answers a lot of questions. If you're on a public server and it is not one of Codeclub AB servers, here's the risks you run. First, you risk many server wipes. So they may have reasons for why they want to wipe the server back to everyone being at the beginning. That's the first risk of playing on a public non-Codeclub AB server. The second risk, the server could shut down. I don't know, for whatever reason in their lives, they may get financial difficulties, they may have a natural disaster, many reasons, as you imagine, for servers just shutting down out the blue. No warning to you, you've lost everything, you lost a lot. That's the second risk. The third risk, they may have the settings not set up to your liking. The settings may be too fast, or the settings may be too slow. So in conclusion, if deeding on a public server, so in conclusion of what talking about public servers, land is still precious. The admins of the server are not going to let you deed the whole world. Okay, so just that. And when I talk about the risks of being on public servers, don't take me the wrong way. I'm not trying to discourage you. Quite the contrary. It's a fantastic thing to be able to group with like-minded people, whether that be light or dark, it's up to you, it's your choice. So I'm all for public servers, they're just a fantastic extension of our wonderful Wurm. Of course, Codeclub AB, they're here to stay for as long as me and you, no doubt. So, you can't go far wrong by being on Wurm Online servers, because they've been around for 10 years. It's your guess as good as mine how many years they'll be here for, but it's all good. Okay, time for a question. You see that island over there, which I am going to eventually get to when I stop waffling. And I enjoy waffling, as you know, but it's only to give you information. Here's a question to re-engage you, because there is a chance you have fallen back asleep. Where is the best place for me to place my deed stake? Where is the best place? While you're thinking about that question, because it's a very good, pertinent question to ask you, I'm going to switch to Wurmpedia, the wonderful Wurmpedia, and I'm going to read the advantages of a deed. Okay, it's on Wurmpedia, it's just called advantages. So I'm going to read it because I've left a ton of stuff out. Even though I have been talking for so long, I've left out loads. So let's switch to Wurmpedia. Here is a list of the advantages that they have listed. Control of who is allowed which actions within the settlement area. Deed guards protecting the settlement, talking about Spirit Templars. Setting reputations to keep out unwanted people. See kill on sight. Well, yeah, there's a fantastic bit of... I even got a link to that kill on sight. Love it. Okay, not that I'm a bad person, but this is a game and you can have fun in different ways. Next, a settlement token to have your bank account at. See, a lot of this I won't be showing you until I actually get the deed, so... And remember, deed, settlement, village, all referring to the same thing. Okay, they're all one of the same. Reduced decay on structures. Been there, seen it, done it with you. Maintenance of signs, lamps, banners and flags by spirit guards. Been there, seen it, done it with you. Although I didn't mention the signs, lamps and banners. Village chat. That's very, very handy, village chat. If you're in local, you can talk to the other villagers without everyone else in the local area seeing what you're all talking about. Let's say you're on a PvP server on Wurm Online. You're all discussing about how you're going to go and take out one of your neighbours because they robbed you last week. They took all your horses, all your 5-speed horses that you'd spent 6 months breeding. So you're all discussing your plans on how to exact revenge for that. Well, there you go. Use village chat. Then no one else will be aware of your little conversation. Next, instant logout when leaving Wurm inside the settlement. Some exceptions apply. So, for example, when we do get to houses and beds, if we log out in a bed, it's instant. If we log out in a settlement, it's instant. But as they've said, and I do love the way they've covered themselves there like that. Maybe I should start doing that. But it is a bit brief. It doesn't really... That's a real big get-out clause. I love that. Some exceptions apply. Okay? So, to what I just said there about instant logout, some exceptions apply. Next, respawn at your own settlement from anywhere on the map when you die. Yep, been there, seen it, done it. Respawn at allied settlements that are within 50 tiles when you die. Oh, fantastic. So my speculation wasn't so far off to the moon as I imagined. I was actually nearly correct. So 50 tiles, that's your limit. So every 50 tiles, my dear viewers, okay, because I'm going to do this here now on this island. But do not for 1 second think that that's my place of where I'm going to dwell. It's not. I want to get onto the mainland at some point and have some real fun with some of the stuff. But what I'm going to be doing is every 50 tiles, I can, if I wish, either choose to have an alt make a deed and then make me a member of that deed so I can then use it as a respawn point. Or I can also, every 50 tiles, place a guard tower, ensuring that every bit I slowly inch into that mysterious land that we can see in the distance, I have places of safety and respawn points. How wonderful is that? See, don't try guessing what I'm going to say, because it won't happen. Okay, moving on. Skill loss when dying on your own deed or allied deed is only 0.025. Suicides have the normal skill loss of 0.25. Please bear in mind I'm reading from Wurmpedia. These what I'm reading may only apply to Wurm Online. Some of it may apply to Wurm Unlimited. Oh, wait a minute. What was it? Some exceptions may apply. So there we go. I've got myself covered. Okay, so there we go with what I just said about skill loss. You'll notice in Wurm Online, when you die, some of your skills will take a hit. But it's alright. You can get them back. I mean, even on the really slow skill levelling of Wurm Online, whenever I've died, I've always got my skill back because you get a skill boost. So on Wurm Online, if that skill drops to 19 because I die, if I start making boats again, that skill will get a speed bonus on it to get back to 21.19. Once I get past 21.19, the skill bonus of dying will drop off, will fade, and then the skill speed will drop back to normal. I do hope that makes sense. I can only but try. Okay, moving on. Branding. Branding animals to show the village they belong to and to allow them to be led by villagers. Okay, that speaks for itself. We're going to get to branding. That is also fantastic. Moving on. An enchanting bonus similar to the productivity bonus. Okay, that's distinctly Wurm Online. A productivity bonus to item crafting for the citizens the older the deed is. See acquired knowledge in the village info at the token. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. We haven't got there yet, thank you very much. And then lastly, they note it seems that the productivity... Oh no, I won't read it. It's too long. It's going to take too much of your time. You can read it. It's the wonderful Wurmpedia. Okay, moving on in my notes then. Let's see, where have we got to? Yes, I asked you a question, didn't I? Where's the best place on that island to place the deed stake? So, let's have a look. Right, we got to go to that island now. There's bears roaming around on that island. Okay, I'm not going to answer the question yet because we haven't got there yet. But here's another question. Before I go merrily roaming off to that island that I know is dangerous and I'm possibly going to be killed, what would be a very good idea for me to do before I am that stupid and silly to just go wandering into that island? What would be a very clever thing for me to do? I'll give you just a few moments to consider that question before I answer it. Okay, let's show you now. What would be a very sensible thing for me to do? Not that I am sensible. I'm, as you know, very stupid. But what would be a good thing for me to do is to place my tent. By placing my tent... Oh yeah, it might be because it's too low to the water. Okay, choices. I can go all the way back. I'm going to have to, because there's a chance that I could die. Forgive this, I'm going to waste a little bit of time having to go back, because I've mentioned previously that there was this limit on how low you can place your tent. It's just totally caught me off guard. But it's only going to take a few minutes, let's face it, to get over there and place this tent. By placing the tent, of course, I'm setting a spawn point. So if I die, I will spawn back here, not right out in the ocean where the sharks are. Because that's where our spawn point was. I think Rainstorm has changed it. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to go with the side of caution like I always say to you to do. Less deaths means less frustration for you. I don't really care about dying, to be honest with you, but just I'm getting you in good habits, as I keep saying. My apologies for wasting a bit of your time in having to do this, but such is life. Okay, so we're going up a bit. We're getting elevated away from the water so we can place our tent without any problems of being able to pick it back up, as I mentioned previously to you in episode 2, I think it was. Okay, so let's put our tent down. There we go, there's our tent. We can now spawn there if I die, when I die. Okay, now we're going to go and place this deed stake and answer the first question that I asked you. Oh great, and it's foggy, so death is definitely looming. Well, I am on my cart, so things aren't as bad as I'm making out, because I can, but it will be very annoying because I won't be able to place the deed and explain it to you while a bear's chewing at me. I was going to say something else then, but I'm keeping this decent. The reason I'm keeping this decent is because I want this to be a series that families can watch. One of the underlying agendas that I have with making this series, which I've not mentioned yet, but is a very strong agenda, is that I want to encourage parents to play with their children. There is a very good reason for that, and I'm not willing to share it with you just yet. Suffice to say, I want to encourage parents to play with their children. Okay, I think it's a great thing if you can share. I'm not saying all the time, for goodness sake. I know that it's healthy for the kids to go out and play with their friends, but I'm saying in them rare moments that you can treasure, you can play a lovely, beautiful game like this together. That's what I want to encourage, and I want you to be able to watch this series with your children without worrying about if I'm saying all sorts of disgusting language. I mean, a lot of people like to do that. That's fine, all good on them, but I'm keeping it clean, so it can be a family series. Okay, the bear has not grabbed me yet. He will in a minute, no doubt. I've lost my aggro range benefits of being a newbie. I'm fair game now for any aggressive creature. Let's see how far we get before I get attacked. So, question was where to place the deed stake. There is the bear. Right, the answer is, the correct answer, I want to deed this whole island as I told you. The best place, the correct answer is right slap bang in the middle of it. How do I know where that is? Well, what I'm going to try and do is get to a high point so I can see the circumference of the island and then place the deed stake. And I'm going to make it huge, because I want to have a big mine, and there's benefits of having the mine within the deed. But there's only so much information I can give to you before your brain melts alongside mine. And as I haven't had this brain long, I want to try and keep it, well, I don't want it to melt. Okay, so with the fog, it's very great because I'm not going to be able to really see the circumference of the total diameter of this island because it's shrouded in fog. I've also got hostiles, so let's just do the best I can, shall we? That's all I can really do, isn't it, at the end of the day? Here looks good. I'm liking here. I'm feeling good about here. So let's actually do this, shall we? Let's place our deed stake and make a deed. Right, okay. So what we do, I've found my ideal location. You will find your ideal location. Everyone has a different idea about what their ideal location is, so I won't try and tell you what your ideal location is. For me, it's like I mentioned previously, close access to clay and other resources, blah 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 blah. Well, because I'm deeding the whole island, or going to try to, with the fog and everything and wild creatures roaming around, I'm just going to make it as big as I can, basically. I hope I don't swallow up Rainstorm's island, else she won't be happy with me, and you know what, I'd have to agree with her. I wouldn't be happy with me. So let's get this deed stake placed. So right click your deed stake, go down to where it says settlement and you guessed it, left click on Found Settlement. Okay, here is this window. I am only going to keep talking for as long as the timer lasts. If we run out of time, it ends here. So you see here it says welcome to the settlement application form. This form will take you through the process of founding your settlement. I won't read it all because you can read that. Okay, what I want to try and do is explain points. So what this process is going to do is start us off on making our settlement. It's going to give us, as we move along, it's going to give us choices and options. I will try and help you where I can, but that's impossible because there's just so much going on, so much information rolling around in this brain of mine. What you need first: have, may, manage, permission. Okay, I'm trying to record this. I'm thinking about things I want to say. That's looking to me like it doesn't make sense the way it started, so brain lock with that. Let's move on. Okay, what we're doing is, let's just get started, shall we? Click the Start the Settlement application. Read this at your leisure. When you do that, it then appears on this window, Stage 1. That's all we're at, Stage 1, the size of your settlement. This is not the main settlement, not the perimeter. Note, this is the main settlement, not the perimeter. Yes, thank you, that's very good. Okay, simply because we haven't done the size yet. If you're in Wurm Online, like I mentioned previously, the bigger the tiles, the more you're going to pay. Because we're on Wurm Unlimited, Rainstorm and me, we have no cost. I can get silly, I can get ridiculous. So what I should have done was counted out the tiles for the deed size. Then I could have got smack bang in the middle of this island. So I think it would be prudent for me to do just that. By doing just that, it will give me the opportunity to show you that at any point during this process you can simply stop and do something else that you want to do. So what I'll do, I'll minimize that to there. I can now count this out. The question is, would I make you endure me going and counting out this whole island and watch me being chased by a bear and no doubt killed or chased off, so I have to keep going back and forth? No, of course I won't. So I'm going to end this episode. Yep, let's end it right here. I'm not sure how long it's been, but it's sufficient. And what I can do then is I can map out exactly where the centre of the settlement, where the deed token is going to be, and then I can plan the next episode. It won't be today, this will be made tomorrow. Okay, so wherever you are in the world, God bless you and take care of every last single one of you, and have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed our little bit of fun on deeding. It will only get better. Goodbye.